This week on Northland Dodge's The Regional, we check out some cool chemistry in Williams Lake, take up longboarding in Quesnel, and find out what makes ultimate frisbee so ultimate.
Northland Dodge Chrysler Jeeps, The Regional, brought to you by Northland Dodge Chrysler Jeep in Prince George. For information, 250-562-5254.
Things go boom, flash, splash, and make vibrant colors.
Ooh.
The chemistry lab at TRU in Williams Lake is always a good place to find students with an interest in all things chemistry. Cranberry juice drips slowly into a beaker, filtered and ready for an experiment. But these students aren't in university, they are in high school, getting their feet wet in science.
I plan on going to post-secondary next year, and well, I know I'm going to be doing a lot of labs there.
So this will be used as our standard.
This is a chemistry contest, started over 12 years ago by a professor in Kamloops. The contest now reaches schools in cities across BC, including here in Williams Lake, where chemistry professor Martin Latinga has taken on the program. After a written test, grade 11 and 12 students are set loose in the lab with an experiment to complete.
In essence, we try to find how much of a particular substance, what percent of a particular substance is in a particular sample.
Trying to find the concentration of cranberry juice actually in a cranberry juice drink.
After filtering all of the samples, the budding chemists work to measure the concentration of the juice in various blends using a spectrophotometer.
Well, that particular piece of equipment actually measures the amount of light that's absorbed at a particular wavelength. Visible light ranges over about wavelength of 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers. And we were pretty well right in the middle of that at around 515 nanometers. And that was the right wavelength for the cranberry juice to absorb light. It was not the right wavelength for apple juice, and that's just what we wanted.
Students from 4 Lake City schools took part in the contest, some of which don't have a lab where they can conduct experiments. They say being able to enter a post-secondary setting and get first-hand experience ahead of graduation is key.
More or less giving us experience. If we are to go into that field, we would have something like this. So it's not like we're going into it without any lab experience at all, because at our school we don't do many labs, and if it is, it's just a really simple lab.
From there, many students might consider a career in chemistry, meaning a potential education that could begin at TRU here in Williams Lake.
Coming here and doing these experiments and doing the tests, it gives you an idea of what chemistry is and sort of finding that out if I really want to or not.
The main idea was to get the students here for the practical lab experience, and the written test, again, it's all about participation. So the more chances they got to participate in contests, the more confidence they build up in the sciences.
In Williams Lake, I'm Sam Numson for Shaw TV.
A group of longboarders are gearing up for an attempt to board from Quesnel to Vancouver in an effort to raise money for cancer research. Zach Bosa, Mitch Young, and Brian Josephi have a dream.
We were first inspired by a documentary series that came on a few years back of 3 men from the United States that rode their boards across the Peruvian mountains, a very large distance, 2,500 kilometers. They didn't do it for a charity, but the idea of going such a far distance got us thinking, well, what if you could take that idea and have it do some real good in the world? So we thought we should do a charity with it.
I like doing stand-ups. I like pre-drifting.
This is our co-founder, Brian Josephi. He's a really good friend of ours. We've known him many years, and we're glad to have him on this trip.
How many people are going on this trip?
Right now we don't have a huge number. We've got about 3 or 4 permanents that are going to be coming with us. We're always recruiting, always looking for new riders. Anyone that thinks they can do it is more than welcome to try.
We like the idea, and also me and myself, my mother died of cancer when I was 3 years old. I'm very proud to be doing this trip. I'll be happy to be leaving here with these guys. And these guys here, they've done a lot of work here. So
I've just always wanted to do trips like this. I've always dreamed of pushing at least one long distance trip, if not more. Even if it was originally meant for a skateboard, now that I've upgraded to the longboard, eventually I just want to push as far as possible, see how far I can go from point A to point B.
Right now we're going into our intensive training program that's going to get us ready for these trips, because I mean, if the trip goes the way we want it to, we'll be covering roughly 70 to 80 kilometers a day, which is a lot more than anything we've ever done before.
Well, a typical day would be waking up, eating, getting ourselves prepared, which would be stretching and checking our boards over, and then we would just get on and just start pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing.
When it comes to big hills, you know, like the really steep hills, we can push them, but it's so tiring we'll probably have to walk up the hills. And then same thing with incredibly steep hills, we'll have to walk down those. But anything outside the realm of ridiculous, we can push up and we can ride down. So the day is going to be a lot of pushing. A lot of people think that, you know, you just push it, you walk up every hill and then coast down every actual, and it's not quite like that. You have to
push.
You have to push for the longest period of the time, because I mean,
until your legs fall off.
Because you're trying to beat the clock. You wake up at 6, 7 in the morning. You get out. You're probably on the road at about 8:30. Even then, that doesn't leave you that many hours to get to the next town. Because otherwise, if you don't make it to the next town, you have to camp next to the road.
Crouch down for the camera, boys. Hang on.
We have a Facebook account and a Twitter account. It's the Push for Cancer on both.
We also hope that we can try to end the stigma that longboarders are a bunch of hoodlums and vandals. We want to show that we're just your average person. We just happen to ride a different form of transport. We hope to make this a yearly thing if we can. We hope to have a yearly event, and each year we hope to extend the distance that we go. And we hope that in a few years it becomes common practice that people start doing these events.
So Ultimate is a combinational sport. I say that because it combines a few different sports all in one. For example, it combines the athletic endurance of soccer with the aerial passing of football and the non-stop breakout action of basketball.
Sports can usually be a pretty competitive experience, but in Prince George, Ultimate is an opportunity to have fun.
I like that they refer to it as like a gentleman's sport, and that there's no referee, and that it's kind of, you get a whole bunch of people together and you come out and you play and you just kind of have a good time together. And it's really it's a really learning environment as well. So they kind of said that they're going to stop the play and let us know if there's like a rule that we need to kind of orientate ourselves to or anything like that.
It's also co-ed and non-contact, which make it really handy much like softball, when men and women are on the same pitch.
With Ultimate being almost more about the social experience, it makes sense that the sport is easy to pick up.
Ultimate's a great sport for newcomers because there's only 10 simple rules, so it's an easy sport to begin.
I've only played a few times, but every time I have, everyone's been really, really supportive, and if you drop the disc, no one yells at you, which is really great. Yeah, it's a really friendly sport. I think that it's a sport that anyone can just come out and play and have a really great time and do really well.
While it might be easy to learn, that's not to say there's no challenge.
It is a very difficult sport to master. I've been playing it for over 11 years and I'm nowhere as good as I would like to be. I also like the fact that it's relatively testosterone free, which is a great way to run around and keep in shape, but not worry about some of the other nasty elements when you're just playing with other men in the same sport.
If you're thinking of giving Ultimate a try, you're in luck. PG Disc Sports runs a variety of leagues all throughout the year.
It's just one of those sports where, because you don't need a ton of extra experience to come and play, they encourage everyone and all people to just come out and give it a try. If it's one time, if you join the league, they're encouraging of everyone to play, and so it's a great way to come and meet new people, especially during the summer when everyone kind of heads off in different directions sometimes.
The whole aspect of it is that inter-team camaraderie and sportsmanship trump competitive play. That's one of the great aspects of Ultimate that make it unique and fun.
For Shaw TV in Prince George, I'm Kevin Neal.
Northland Dodge Chrysler Jeeps, the Regional, has been brought to you by Northland Dodge Chrysler Jeep in Prince George. For information, www.northlanddodge.ca.